Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Ben Fisk for the Darkfall Protocol, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all back. Now I'm sure you have a couple of questions. Ben, are you really going to disappear for 13 months and not even acknowledge it? Yes. Ben, in your previous video you had teased you were going to be doing something with Coca-Cola, perhaps a follow-up to All in the Name? Well, I tried, but... Okay, so full disclosure, it's cold, everybody's in a bad mood, and it looks really suspicious to walk around with a video camera on campus. So instead, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be coming back and getting right down to my roots with a food challenge. Now, normally on this channel, I take something okay and I make it terrible. I take an idea that might work, and I find the worst way to go about preparing it. Today, I'm going to be flipping that idea on its head by taking one of the most boring, commonplace, easily prepared foods and making it gourmet, making it fancy and extravagant. Today we are going to have two shots to make a basic or plain item of food into something that could easily have a $20 price tag at an upscale bistro. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Gourmade. Now the first culinary concoction we're going to create today is going to be a staple classic, the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now there's a couple different metrics on which I'm going to be judging my creations today. The first is obviously going to be presentation. All of these things have to look fancy enough for me to charge $20 for them at this bistro I'm going to be making. Another, of course, extremely important factor is going to be taste. It doesn't matter how good it looks if it ends up making you want to... I bet I just intercut the shake there, didn't I? And then of course there's going to be a little bit of points for creativity. I'm sure somebody out there has tried this before, but I'm doing it on camera, so I get credit for coming up with this. I have some private selection multi-grain wide pan bread. I don't know what that means, so I figured I would just stick with some whole grain. I wish I could do white, but I feel like there isn't a gourmet white bread out there. Yet. Now the next thing, of course, you want to get your peanut butter, right? Now what I have is the Smucker's all-natural creamy peanut butter. I don't know too much about it. It's in a glass thing, and glass automatically means expensive, which means fancy. So I think that I'm barking up the right tree. So we're just gonna do a nice even coating here. The other thing, you gotta get your ratios right. Got some of that we're gonna do in here. This may come as a surprise, but the next ingredient in our peanut butter and jelly sandwich is gonna be jelly. Cross and Blackwell red currant jelly. I don't know if it's actually English, but it sounds so bloody English that I'm going to continue talking like this for the duration of the jelly portion. I don't know what a currant is. I believe I've only heard it referenced in Redwall. Oh, I don't know. Well, it's going on the sandwich. I mean, look at how fancy that logo is. Okay, that's a fancy logo. So, undoubtedly, this was the right decision. Make sure it doesn't fall off. We got our peanut butter, we've got our jelly. I think that's the duration of the jelly portion, so I can go back to talking like normal. Ben, what exactly makes this gourmet? Currently, I'm sitting at your bistro, and I'm not paying $20 for this. I need another plate. This should not be $7. Peanuts cannot be that expensive to make. It's not about the peanuts, Ben. It's about the hazelnuts and the pistachio. I don't care. There's pistachios in this? I've got some walnuts and some almonds and some pecans, and so what we're going to do is we're going to smash them up and we're going to do a light little dusting. I'm just going to crush them up with the bottom of a thing of hard cider. And you're probably thinking, that's not very artesian. Yeah. Shouldn't be doing this on a plate. There's no way that shook up, right? I'll open that in a second, but let's see here. We gotta get our nice nut grindings. Take our peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and we're gonna do a nice little dusting. We don't want our friend the jelly side to feel left out, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna cut up some grapes. This is quite the dull night. It's one of the dullest that I've seen in my life. I'm an American. If I want grapes in the middle of winter, I will have grapes in the middle of winter. And thank goodness for that King Soopers, they had them. Kind of a nice little rose here. Starting to look like a pretty bougie sandwich, if I do say so. We got our nut dust. We got our grape. Ben, I am a patron of many bistros, and while you've got a nice little sandwich there, there's no way I'd pay $20 for it. What? That's because we're not finished. Next, we're coming up with the coup de grace, if you will. There's kind of a ceiling in terms of fanciness for graham crackers. If I can't tell the difference, then my patrons won't be able to either. We're gonna take some of our delicious LR Rice raw, unfiltered, local Colorado honey, and we are going to drizzle it in the middle. But you want to make sure that you get as much honey per bite. Your HPB ratio needs to be up there. That's one of those things when they're handing out the Michelin stars, man. You can't have a low HPB index. Voila! Bread, jelly, grapes, graham cracker, honey, graham cracker, nut dusting, peanuts, bread. That is a 9-layer PB&J right there. You see somebody ordering one of these, one of the 9-layer peanut butter and jellies, and you think, 20 bucks? Why not? This definitely would have been cut prior to me bringing it out. This is just a dry run. I would never let my waiters bring an uncut sandwich into my bistro. Look at that peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's delicious. So, I've had a couple of martinis, I've been out on the course all day, and that is a $20 peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The current jelly's kind of sour. It gets offset by the burst of grapes, so you keep that natural fruit flavor. And then you bring in the honey. Initially get that kind of pop, you get that bite, and then it's just soothed away. Unsurprisingly, my $20 peanut butter and jelly, huge hit. It's a spectrum sandwich. I think that's what I would call it. Sweet, savory, soft, hard, crunchy, chewy. It covers all of it in one sandwich that manages to not clash with itself. I'm proud of this. I was hesitant about going into the bistro business before this, but now I'm sure I'm gonna make it killing. Now I'm sure I'm gonna make it killing. Make it killing. Make it killing. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. God, I hate these Pop-Tarts. Yeah, it's me again. And I'm just as surprised as you are that I'm still alive. I got a million frickin' things that I could be doing today. My flamethrower is still malfunctioning. I've got this pair of white eyes that have been watching me from the end of the block. But no, today I gotta prove a point. You see, I've started to figure out how all of this stuff works, what I have to do to get my life back. And I can't think of a more perfect way for me to throw my hat in this ring than for me to upstage you in one of the only achievements that you've ever failed. You see, there's a lot of stuff that you used to do, Ben, that you thought was difficult, that you thought was too much, that was too hard. I can handle blending up a meal and drinking it. I can handle the bacon shake, because you couldn't. Now again, I'm pulling out all the stops for this one. I actually had to find a generator, and no, I'm not using it to heat water so that I can take a shower for the first time in 2 months. Ben, there's probably a whole bunch of terrible monsters out there that are hearing you yell about this stuff. Yeah, there probably are. So I'm gonna have to deal with that as soon as I'm all fueled up. I was gonna save this. I was gonna use this as a shot on New Year's Eve while I contemplated if I wanted to keep going, but no! And then finally, hey, you know, you don't want to get all the same type of oats, you gotta get your 12 grains and oats in there. So we're just gonna drop our cereal bar in this shit. I could be going out there and I could be looking for a magpie. I could be doing that second sweep at the sporting goods store. I haven't fought a crustacean in a while. I didn't think they made it to Colorado, but of course they f***ing did. My life's so devoid of meaning that this is going to be the best thing that I do today. Recon, magpie, disgusting. It's my life now. The most important thing I could be doing while simultaneously being a waste of my time. Bacon shake round 2. Down the hatch. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some traps to go lay. Your move, motherfucker. Boom, we're back at the bistro. Now, the word is starting to spread that I have this new and unique twist on casual, everyday food by making it interesting, unique, and extraordinary. Is extraordinary too far? Is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with graham crackers in it extraordinary? Yes, it is. As people come in for the dinner rush, they're asking, well, I want something a little bit more filling. I want something hot. It started to cool down. I had a long day at the office. And that's when I say, don't worry, I've got just the thing. A quesadilla. Where do you get gourmet tortillas? Bottom line, I didn't find one, okay? So what I've got here, I've got the one with the bell. You all know which one it is. Cream cheese. Now, this one, again, can't get crazy fancy with cream cheese, guys. But this one is basically just a base. I'm putting the cream cheese on the tortilla to basically give it a little bit of sticking power. So I've got it nice and kind of lathered up, and I'll go ahead and do this one real quick. I'll do it in a minute. It's like my concentration started to slip the second I started drinking. I don't know why that would happen. Now, instead of just putting on some cheddar, maybe some brie, maybe some goat cheese if you're feeling especially Greek, today we're going to be putting on some Cotswold cheese. I don't know what that is, but it does have onions and chives in it. It says onion-England. So I can assume that this is very English. I mean, when you think of quesadillas, you think of the Brits. I'm just going to be doing very little slices, very small, very dull knife, and I'm sure anybody out there who actually knows how to cook is probably saying, Ben, that's what you use to cut spinach. Ben, that's how you decor an apple. Cheese slices all around the inside here. Too thick. You gotta be able to hold it up to the light and be able to see the light through it. It's like checking for a counterfeit $100 bill. And it smells pungent. What we're going to be doing today is the fanciest meat that I know of, which is smoked salmon. Coho salmon, which I'm sure means something to some Cajun coho. I'm mixing a lot of different cultures in this quesadilla. It was farm raised within Colorado. All of this, with the exception of probably the cheese, the tortilla, and the cream cheese. So now, of course, I'm using my cheese knife to open up cardboard. There's not a single metaphor that I'm comfortable using for what I just did, so I'm not going to. Okay. So basically, yeah, you know what? I was gonna be fancy. I was gonna try to cut it apart, but instead, I'm gonna do a little bit more. We're just gonna go nuts. We're gonna get something smells fishy here. It's covering up the cheese. Now, the more I think about it, I guess I'm kind of doing a bagels and lox thing here. I didn't really realize that until literally right this moment. Okay. Looking real good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my everything knife, just cut across to Ben's Bistro. It needs some kind of like a lettuce? Spinach? Spinach. I really would have cooked this inside of it had I known that this was going to be a thing. I'm so smart. So good at what I do. I was right. It needed a little tweak. It needed a little something else. But more than anything, it just brings the tones of the salmon down. Like, you can't even imagine. It was like, the first bite was just salmon, and now that they've got, I'm gonna destroy that in a minute. That might be the best thing I've ever made on this show. So what can we take away from today, ladies and gentlemen? Well, we had two completely basic, average meal recipes, and by the inclusion of unique and bizarre and interesting ingredients, we have created something good, which is not the usual outcome of this show. These weren't overly complex challenges, and nothing really went wrong, but that's kind of exactly why I picked this as my coming back point. Plenty more food challenges and other challenges on the way. I will invariably screw up and make an ass of myself, but that's not the story of today. It feels absolutely amazing to be back. Thank you all for sticking with me during this year of absence. Trust me, I've been up to some stuff, and hopefully you'll find out about it in the near future. This was a great note to come back on. I'm excited to see what other stuff on the list there will be. And, I mean, it's me, so there's bound to be a couple wrenches thrown into the machine that I can't even possibly imagine at this point. I know! You can hear me! But also because it's me, I cannot wait to see what happens next. This is Ben Fisk for the Darkfall Protocol, signing off.
Perfect in every way, never seen in this face. There's nothing more to say. It's in this deep, 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 deep.